Power is one of those things that you don't really think about until you run out. Every filmmaker knows that feeling. You're in the middle of a shoot, camera body's flashing red, your monitor dies, the mic blinks out. Let's be honest, it's the worst. Over the years, I've tried every battery solution possible, and eventually I realized there's only one system that truly makes sense for filmmakers: the V-mount battery. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how I power my whole gear setup, both in studio and on the go, all using the ZG Cine V99 Pro. Let's start with the obvious. When you're out shooting, you shouldn't be thinking about, oh, it's my battery about to die or not. You should be thinking about lighting and directing and emotion within whatever scene you're shooting. So whenever my battery died during a shot or a sequence in the past, I always find that I always lose whatever flow I was in. And that always really bothered me. Until now, because this V99 Pro, this 100-watt battery from ZG Cine, can literally power my whole setup, my Sony a7S III, and my Portkey 7-inch monitor on the go for about 5 hours. A V-mount battery, basically, it just gives you freedom. Sure, to rig it up, it becomes a little bit heavier, your rig, but to be honest, if I have my camera battery, my monitor battery, and then all of these cables are there anyways, and in the end, a V-mount battery isn't about power altogether, it's more about simplifying your setup and putting the power solution away from your brain. As I mentioned before, the one I'm using is the ZG Cine V99 Pro, and this thing, it's actually incredible because it's got all the ports that you can ask for. It's got a PD port, it's got the D-tap, it's got the 12 volt out, 8.4 out, PD out, like it's got literally every port you can ask for. And having two USB-C ports, that means that you can not only charge your camera while you're shooting or maintaining the same battery level, but also can be useful to, for example, charge your phone or even charge your laptop during long flights. Yes, long flights, because being a 100-watt battery means that you can take this on the plane, and it's really not that heavy. Another thing, like most V-mount batteries, got a little display over here so you can see when the battery is on, what's the percentage, and you can see what's in, what's out, and so on. So that's very helpful to see, while you're shooting, how much power everything is drawing, and, percentage and things like just easy things like that, a tool like this should definitely have. And then moving on, one other thing that I actually noticed as mostly on-the-go filmmaker with very small crew, and usually I just have my top handle, my monitor, and my camera on me, I noticed that actually having an MPF battery on my monitor, which is big and chunky on the back, actually messes up with the balance of the rig, and I always find it a bit weird. But now having this one, which gets mounted right on the back, and not having an NPF battery, I feel like, especially with bigger lenses, it creates a much better balance between your whole rig, which eventually makes for smoother shots. And let's be honest, having a V-mount battery rig on your camera, even though you're shooting on a small, FX3 or a7S III, or even the new Nikon ZR, for example, that is such a tiny factor camera, it will make your rig look more professional, which means that whoever's paying for the job that you got hired with, it will look better on them too. And even though it doesn't make any physical, visual difference, you will look more professional. So, that's also a plus. And I think in the world that we're living, we should definitely value that. I think what surprised me the most actually was how much I've been using this for absolutely anything since I got it. As I said, I'm not taking any MPF battery or extra batteries to any of my trips. And I even used it a few times on location to power lights because it's got the output for it. So as long as your light can be powered out of, you know, a DC or a, you know, a PD or whatever that is, or a D-top, then you'll be sweet. And most lights these days are. Like this light right here that I'm using to light myself right now, I literally could use it with this, and it would last, you know, at least an hour, which is usually more than enough. So yeah, in the end of the day, it makes your whole setup a lot easier. It's not just the power solution, it's more about simplifying your whole camera backpack, making it more reliable. And in the end, I think everybody should, you know, at some point invest on a V-mount battery. So if you want to check out the ZG Cine battery, I'm using the V99 Pro, but I have a bunch of different options. And yes, they sent me these gears to test out, but it's not sponsored. I just thought it's a cool video because I realized once I got it how much easier my setup rigging got, and also how better just the camera looks. It looks a lot sexier. So if you do want to check out ZG Cine, there's a link down on the top of the description. If you want to check out anything else that I used throughout this video, links are all below. Subscribe, leave a like, and I'll see you next week in the next video. See ya.